John has a fine characteristic. He is a warm-hearted person. At the time, I was a volunteer for a charity project in that village. He impressed me with his enthusiasm for journalism. When we had the time to interact with each other, we became close friends. In our discussions, John did reveal to me the nature of his career. Perhaps because he thought I was just a stranger, not related to what he was doing and the people involved with him. He told me about his past too. Back in the day, his family was in poverty. One day, he had to become a pickpocket to earn a living. Then, he was caught by the police. There was a journalist who had bailed him out, so he was grateful. He didn't want to return to his home, so this journalist had to bring him along to his journey. By watching how passionate that journalist was, John Goodman was inspired to become a journalist. Needless to say, that journalist had a profound influence on him. John wanted to follow his passion, and he decided to cultivate his dream no matter how hard it is. After all, he went back to home. During his adolescence period, the poor didn't discourage him. By making money in various ways, John was able to enter a decent university for journalists. He had probably experienced many intensive transformations. He outperformed tons of peers who were studying the same major as him. John Goodman had an outstanding academic performance in his journalism institution and graduated with a remarkable result. He also received numerous award nominations and won many prizes as a champion at international contests for journalists. He said, being a journalist is not like being a baker. He has to overcome many challenges during his career. How the heck does this guy compare a journalist with a baker? He's making a comparison so this series can use as much as vocabulary as possible. Don't bother him. One of his cases was the Red Cross. He had been chasing this organization since he was a newbie in the field. The handful of information about them was a major obstacle for John. One day he received a letter that wanted him not to go deeply into this organization. This threat was like a chain on him. He started feeling heavy. The fact is, he isn't afraid of criticism, let alone a threat to the mail like this. He stated journalists like him don't criticize anyone. He keeps a neutral attitude to everyone's beliefs. This criminal organization had possibly aimed for something, and he would figure it out no matter how dangerous it is. And he did succeed in finding out what was behind their scheme. In other words, he said they let him freely investigate them. He got to meet many people that it is thought to know about them. All I know so far is that the Red Cross is planning a major project. Something incomparable and unprecedented. An intelligent computer that will blow your mind. They're ready to burn down and wipe out anything standing in their way. Yes, no one can resist a supercomputer. That's a multi-purpose machine. They like to be a pioneer in the technology field. Whoever wants to get in their way has to suffer severe consequences. They don't mind removing any obstacle in their way. They like to dominate the weak. They want to manipulate them by using technology. Well, in that case, Their existence is clearly detrimental to people's lives, and I think they should be terminated. Their scheme is to dominate the market, gain enormous profits based on computers, and leave human resources out of the system. Based on your words, our society would suffer from an economic crisis if their scheme succeeded, and that will be a disaster. They are on their way to recruiting other people who have the same mindset as them into their crew. It is clear that their initiative includes many ethically wrong behaviors. This is just the foundation. Their plan is probably beyond our imagination. What are you implying? Their army is multiplied every hour, and their power escalates day by day. Their plan is to merge multiple criminal organizations from around the globe and create a united pathway to execute their evil scheme. From the outside, there are many non-profit organizations to do charity and stuff. But on the inside, they are promoting member recruitment in remote areas and isolated regions just to spread their dictatorship and ideology. They want to start a technological revolution. They want to create a virtual world. I'm confused. No, a real world with AI. They want to form a new government where AI is the head. If they successfully build a supercomputer, the possibility will be limitless. Some expected that this trend will create a conflict in the market. That claim is correct in case we fail. By contrast, if we successfully inhibit these guys, we can avoid civil conflict. We should take their confidential plan into account carefully. By the way, I asked you just a few questions and you told me a story, including his biography. You're supposed to summarize it. Next time if someone asks you, just summarize it. Straight to the point. Does he have family here? He doesn't have any cousins or relatives. I've never heard of them. This is a portrait of him if you guys need it. Yeah, thank you. Other than that, I don't have any information about John Goodman. Thank you. To my mind, you seem like a fraud for selling silly stuff in this store. Do you have any excuse for that? I don't have any pension or earn a decent wage, so I gotta make every penny even if I'm getting old. I have to pay the rent each month, you know. I live in this place. I don't live in a modern apartment. I'm unemployed, so I have to trick people into buying my stuff. Wow, he seems desperate. I can arrange a face-to-face meeting with John Goodman if you like. Well, normally you will be able to do that, but now John is missing. I'm afraid it's really tough to find him. Based on his schedule, he's supposed to meet you at this time, but I guess you can realize that John has disappeared. There's no chance to meet him anymore. If he wanted to avoid being followed and intended to hide, then I guess we might also have a few questions for him. If he ever pays you a visit, please contact us via this phone number. Thank you. Okay. Mr. Hopper, should we buy that? Well, at least he says something. So now what should we do? I suppose we will head back to the bombing mission. Come on, Holmes, let's find our lovely Tommy Bash. I bet he'll have some job for us. Yeah, I think there's a high chance that he has already found out some positions of the other bombs.